welcome everyone. Just gonna set because I'm not in my home. I haven't got my two screens, so I'm working on my laptop. So I'm just figuring out where everything is. Right, okay, I'm good. Can everyone see my screen share where it says Ancestral Healing Gifts? Give me a thumbs up if you can see
Yeah.
that. Perfect. Cool. Perfect.
Mm.
Just gonna move this because it's where my arrows are. It's all
My
good.
battery is running low.
Your battery's running low, is it?
Yeah.
You better plug it in then. You don't want to miss this.
Uh,
If everyone can go on onto mute as well, that'd be good. And then we don't get any feedback. Sometimes you get feedback from people, so that'd be cool. Perfect. Thank you very much. So to do it today, we're talking about ancestral healing and gifts. And often what people do is they only talk about the healing, but we have to remember that our ancestors have lots of gifts to give us as well. So rather than just go down our ancestral line and say, oh, I want a healing, we can go down the ancestral line and say, please give me the gifts as well. And people often forget that sexy, juicy part of it. So we're going to talk about ancestral healing, and what we're going to do is I'm going to give you a very brief idea of what it is. I think it was nearly a year and a half ago, probably, with Karen Goldstein. We did a 3-day summit on ancestral healing, and what I do is there's a link at the very end that will take you back to that. And she did a whole thing on it, and that was all to do with the Akashic Records way of healing your ancestral line and calling in the gifts. And I did one that was all shamanic based. And obviously since then I've been doing lots of training and learning new things. So today we'll go through the new way that I've learned. Obviously, like many things, there's many ways of doing these healings. There's not just one. And I'm not saying shamanism is the only way. I'll explain how it works in shamanism, and then you can see if it's going to work for you. So what is this? Well, basically, this one's all about ancestral healing, but as you can see, there was quite a few different areas that I've covered in the past, since February, so quite a few months, the last sort of 5-6 months. And all of those are on my EnglishMystic.co.uk site under blog. So if you missed them, you can go back and do a chakra cleanse, meet your guardian angels, look at the seen and the unseen, do soul retrieval, which is really powerful. I'm still calling back properly the 5-year-old piece of my soul that I lost when I was 5, and then the aura cleanse. And I keep going on about people making sure they clean their chakras and clean their auras. And I say we all have showers, we clean our teeth, don't we, sort of at least twice a day. How often do you cleanse your chakras and your aura? And it's very important to do that. It's basically cleansing your energy rather than just your physical. So I always say to people, go back and go through those. The energy is encoding in those videos. It's there forever and it's free forever as long as I'm here, and even afterwards, I should hope. So please do go and use those. But today we're talking about ancestral healing and pulling in the gifts. So as I always like to do is just make sure that we're all present and just call ourselves in. I mean, we've all got things to do. For some of us it's early morning, some of us it's very early morning, some of it's middle of the afternoon. We've all got those to-do lists and things that we could be doing. So I truly appreciate the fact that you're here and listening to me going on about shamanism. And that's my calling now, to share shamanism to the world. And I give as much away as I can for free so that people can understand what it's about and sort of really demystify it. That's what I'm trying to do, demystify the mystical, because sometimes people think it's all a bit woo-woo. Actually, it's really not. So first of all, if we can all just go to our brains, please be quiet for the next half hour or so, 40 minutes maybe, and just bring your attention into your heart. And just bring it straight into your hearts. Just there's a flame in your heart, and just imagine that flame, that your whole intention is in the flame. Just let that flame grow and grow and grow and just engulf all of you. It's a non-burning flame, it's a cleansing flame. It just brings you here into this present moment. It's always good to just do a few breaths where you're really thinking about breathing, just deep breaths. Just a couple. Beautiful. Beautiful. So welcome. So why would we want to heal our ancestry? Well, in the past, and still in many tribes throughout the world, we honoured our ancestors. We kept their memory alive. And in shamanism and in many tribes that don't even practice shamanism, they believe that the spirit of our ancestors is still there and it's still available to us. And that our ancestors love us unconditionally. They've moved on from the physical, and they've moved on from all of the angst that we have in our families. All that's removed and been left here in this 3D world. But in the spirit world, they're there to assist us, and they want to assist us. But in our modern cultures, we bury people, we cremate them, and maybe we put some flowers out. But how often do we actually even visit the graves, and how often do we sit and remember their lifetimes? It's very rare. And the good thing about going back through your ancestry and speaking to your ancestors is that you can heal your ancestral line, remove the blockages. And often these blockages cause issues for our family. There could be many, and I'll sort of go through a list of them. But also we need to remember that our ancestors don't just hold blocks and issues for us, they also hold many gifts. And that's the important thing, is to realize there's the yin and the yang, that there's some things there that will have blocked our lives and maybe have come down through our DNA, some of them physical, some of them emotional, some of them mental. But there's also the gifts. And you hear of children, prodigies, like 2 years old, suddenly playing the piano with amazing grace, and somehow their ancestry has pulled that into them, or one of their past lives has pulled that in. And it's those gifts like that again we can ask our ancestors to help us with, to pull in. Yeah. So why would we heal the ancestral line? I mean, healing your ancestral line can end years of pain and suffering that comes down through your family lineage. And when we talk about family lineage, we'll see in a minute a slide where your family lineage is huge. Often our minds go, oh, we got our parents, and they've got their parents, so that's our grandparents, and then we've got their parents, which is our great grandparents, and then we got their parents, which is our great great grandparents. But if you go back and back and back, we're nearly all just one. We're all very connected at some point. And so there's a slide in a minute that sort of shows how big our lineage is. The important thing also about ancestral healing is that it not only works on the inherited burden, but it's also a way of giving homage to those that came before us. I mean, it's a tribute to our ancestors. How often do we sit down and actually give homage to them? You think of, I mean, I just think back to my grandparents. My granddad was in the war, and his father was in the First World War. And then if you go back before that, you come from Ireland and Scotland, and there was the famines. And then you go back even further, I had relatives in London. There was the death, the black, I can't say it, the plague. And if you go back even further, there's so many things that your ancestors have survived. But there's also so many skills that they picked up. They were maybe good at weaving, they may be good at singing, maybe they're good at archery. Who knows? All of the things. If you go back part through your lineage, you can think of all the things, that all the good stuff and all the bad stuff, and that is in you. That's stuck in your DNA. It's there. That's why if your grandparents were good at something, you can be good at it. Sometimes your grandparents might have had red hair and your mother and father don't, but it can jump a generation and you can have red hair. There's so many gifts and also so many traumas that come down the line. That's a very good idea to go on a journey where you're going to go to a wise ancestor and ask them to assist you. So it all starts with your intention to want to clear your lineage, call in the gifts, and then what you do is you travel back and find an ancestor that can assist you with that. So who are the ancestors? Well, as I said before, that you've got your 2 parents, you've got your 4 grandparents, you've got your 8 great-grandparents, you've got your 16 great-great-grandparents. And if you go back 40 generations, which isn't that far, I think it's 1,000 years or something, your ancestors, your tree is so huge, it's literally, all of us have got trillions of ancestors. And if you go back to the primeval times, where at the beginning we were one cell that came out of the sea, or wherever it was, whether it was in Africa or wherever you believe it was, we all go back so far, and you can take your ancestry all the way back to the beginning of that first cell. So we are all one, literally. And you can go back through those generations and call in. So you can go back and, we've all got kings and queens in our line. We've also all got paupers and murderers in our line. And there's all those gifts and all those curses and traumas that are there. Maybe you're putting them in, not even knowingly, within your subconscious. Yeah. So we're all one. So you are my family. My great second, third, fourth, millionth cousin or something. So here's a very simple example of an ancestral wound. Obviously, there's many things that have happened in the past to all of your ancestors, but maybe let's take this example. Your great-great-great-grandmother was out in the field collecting herbs. She was a witch, and a pack of wolves surrounded her because she was near their cubs. She didn't realise that. And they're all snarling at her and scaring her, so she runs away. With that, now she's got that fear of wolves and dogs. The only time she'll now go back out is if she's got some protection. So her husband, a big burly guy with an axe, he goes out with her and they collect herbs. But that fear is now instilled in her, in her DNA. And if she was with a child, the child definitely would have felt that fear in the womb. But also that's just embodied in her. So you might find that her grandchildren are afraid of dogs, just naturally. And we've all got that, where something happened to our ancestors and it's in our DNA and it's caused some sort of trauma for us. We may not even recognize it. We might just have this fear. I think, why have I got this fear? A dog's never done anything to me. Well, I've got that one. I was always afraid of dogs. I never met a dog really that ever did anything to me. Just had that fear until I went down my lineage and cleared it. And now I love dogs. So that was just an example that I know definitely works. But there's also gifts. As I say, if your great-great-grandmother was great at collecting herbs, maybe you've got that as well. Maybe there's something in you that just says, when I smell garlic, wild garlic, I love it. And when I see dandelions, I want to pick them. Why am I wanting to make it into a tincture? So you've got both sides, say the yin and the yang. So what can the wounds be? The wounds could be many things, but it can be, you could, down your lineage come addictions. Maybe there's drugs, drinks, food, sex, low vibrational mindset, relationship issues, illnesses. That's a big one that can come down: heart disease, cancers, depression. You might have abundance issues, poverty, overspending, poor money management, fears and phobias, heights, spiders, the dark, fire, dogs, snakes, loud noises, maybe even silence. You might have a shyness that comes down your lineage. You might have certain dislikes and smells that you don't like, or even people, certain types of people, or whatever. You might have moods that have come down. If your grandparents were always the moody types, that could come down through your lineage. Same as fear and hate and prejudice, jealousy, and then there's that depression again. As I say, there's always a yin and a yang. So you might have inherited from your ancestors the love of nature, a deep connection to nature, a deep feeling for magic and witchery. Maybe you've got an ability to think really clearly under stressful situations because one of your ancestors was always in stress but managed to think clearly, and then that's now in your DNA. Maybe you've got an understanding of herbs. Maybe you've just got a calm mindset. Maybe you're just one of these people that's just truly calm and everyone else in your family isn't, but it's come down to you. Maybe there's an inner knowing. You just know stuff that, how on earth did I know that? It's not possible. I've never Googled it. How did I know? And again, that could have come down as a gift from your ancestors. You might have a certain boldness, a certain fire in you. Maybe you're good at being authoritarian, or maybe you're good at leadership. Maybe you're just one of those people that's just so happy about life because your ancestors had an amazing lineage down to you. So there's a perfect flow there. There's no block in your lineage. So you're just one of these people that's full of life and loves life, and everything is great and amazing. You get up in the morning and there's people like, yeah, I'm alive. Maybe you remember a skill, like I said about that child that's remembered how to play the piano. Maybe you've got some skills that have come down through your lineage again. Or maybe you've subconsciously, or your soul at some level, as you're awakening to this new world, maybe you've pulled that in. And they're all there for you to pull in as well. So I say it's the yin and yang. Let's not call it good and bad. Let's just say we can pull them in. So how would you pull these in, all these gifts, and how would you clear the wounds? As I say, there was a seminar a while back, and those recordings will be available for you, and you can do that. You can go down the Akashic Records one, you can go down the shamanic route that I understood at that point. As I say, I've been doing lots more learning about shamanism, and sort of just finished my shamanic diploma, which was a 2-year course. Was really digging deep, and I've got another way, and this way is quite nice. And I did it very recently. I probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, if not even that, maybe. I went back down my lineage, went on a shamanic journey, and I just imagined a path. For me, it happened to be beside a flowing river, and this path just went on and on. As I walked, I was like, God, this is going on forever. And as I walked, I thought, I'm going back in time. And I went all the way back to the 1400s to find a truly wise ancestor, like fully wise. When I say wise, I mean someone that's embodied, connected to their life. It's if you go back down your recent lineage, you might go, oh, I had an alcoholic father, an abusive this. It may be hard to find a wise ancestor that's close to you if you go back, but there's always going to be one. As I said before, if you go back 40 generations, there's trillions of them to choose from. So there is one somewhere in your lineage that you can say is a wise ancestor. So what you do is you go on this journey and you follow this road, or you follow this river, or whatever it is. It'll be in your imagination. You'll imagine it, and you'll meet this wise ancestor, and they'll come forward, and you can say to them, I'm from 2023. This is my name. I'm like one of your ancestors a long way down the line. I'm coming back for your assistance because somewhere in my lineage there's a break or a blockage. There doesn't seem to be a clear line back to you, the wise ancestor. Can you assist me? And they're in the spirit world. So for them, the time between, let's say, the 1400s and now it doesn't mean anything to them. But they're like, oh wow, you've come from the future, and they'll be in awe of that. They really will, and very few people are going back and asking. So they definitely will. And the fact that you're there, they will want to help you. They'll have an unconditional love for you completely, and they'll want to assist you. So what you'll do is you'll speak to them and say, I'm after having my lineage cleared. I'd like to remove as many wounds as possible, and I also like to receive as many gifts as possible. And if there's a particular wound you know of, you can mention it, or you can just say, I'm not really sure. I just know there's something there, some blockage. Can you help me? And also say, can you give me the gifts as well? Don't remove things. Can you give me things? Can I have those please embodied in me? And they'll say, yeah, of course you can. The thing is, you can't ask them how long that's going to take because time doesn't really exist to them. So they might work fast, and there might be a couple of blocks, and then you'll just feel this, like, I just feel different. Something's changed. And maybe people in your family will act differently, because once you clear the lineage, it clears not just you, it clears all of it. And if you go far enough back, you're clearing that big block at, say, 40 generations ago. Think how many people sit below that. Tens and tens of thousands of them. So you could go back and clear a block that could affect whole country, the whole world even. It's very important to do with the feeling in your heart that it's your true intention and you're doing it for the good of yourself and your lineage and for the higher vibration. So what we should do next, let me just go. What we're going to do is actually go on a little journey and go and find our wise ancestors. Yeah. So let me just stop sharing the screen. Okie doke. I'm back and I can see all your gorgeous faces. Beautiful. So what we're going to do is go on a little journey. I'll play the drum. We're going to go to the lower realms, and the lower realms is a shamanic realm which is safe and friendly, and I'll be coming with all of my guides, so we'll be making sure you're all fully protected. And I'll play the drum and that just opens the portal, and when we get to a certain point I'll have a feeling that maybe you're all okay, and I'll then do the beat of the drum a bit faster. That'll be like a recall, but you'll be going on a journey, a walk along a road or a path or through a forest or following a river, but your intent is to go back and imagine you're going back through your lineage to find that wise ancestor. And you might go like miles and miles and miles and centuries, but to come back is so quick. You can fly back through time and wherever you've traveled at the speed of light. And if there's any issues, I'll send my team in and they'll come and grab you. But the important part of any of these is the intention. So the first thing is, do you want to do it? And if you do, put your hand up. Okay, the people I can see definitely want to do it, which is good. Perfect. Magic. And keep your hands. And if you forgot to see your hands, then I'll just assume yes. If you don't, then obviously don't worry about doing what we're about to do. Then the next bit is to think about your lineage. And at the very beginning is mother's line or father's line. And if you're adopted or you don't know your biological parents, then this is where you can choose whether you go down the lineage of the people you call mother and father, or just father or just mother, or you can go down the actual birth one. It's up to you. It's better if you can go down your true parents, the birth ones, but if you don't know them, then you can go down your adopted parents, and you can just follow that line. And the important thing is to pick one of them. So for example, when I did my one recently, I picked my father's line. I just imagined I was following my father and I was just following that line. I went down each route. You might decide you want to go down your mother's line, and then you can then follow that. Your intuition will tell you where to go, and obviously as you go back, the number of ancestors is getting big. But you just want to follow this path or wherever it is that's in your mind, and just with the intention that you're finding a wise ancestor. Don't worry too much if you don't see them fully, or you just get a feeling of a presence. And once you think you found them, to say, are you the wise ancestor that help me with the healing of the lineage and receiving of the gifts? That's the important thing. Is the intention is to pick one of the lineages and to find your wise ancestor. And if it doesn't work this time, then play it again and just keep doing it until you're out of your head and you're more in your heart, and just follow your intuition, follow your soul, and head back. Yeah, is everyone good with that? Perfect. So what you want to do is get yourself really good and comfortable, so you're relaxed, sitting down, lying down, whatever you want. So I'll give you a moment to do that. I'll have a drink. My orangey purpley juice. Cool. Right then. Everyone good? Everyone out of their heads, into their heart? Right. I connect to each of your souls. I call upon the pure, gorgeous, healing light of the universe to fill our connection and surround us in a healing space. And imagine for me now a protective space around yourselves and around me, around all of us. And it's pure light energy, keeping us safe. Okay, I call in the directions. I call in the east and the south and the west and the north. I call in the fire, the water, the earth and the air to lend us their powers, healing, wisdom and protection. I call upon the earth, Mother Gaia, to protect us and open a portal for us to the lower realms to meet our ancestors. I call upon my shamanic temple, the above, the before, the below, the behind, the right and the left. I call upon Goddess Isis to assist us here today, and Archangel Michael as well. Okay, I ask your and my ancestors to attend and provide their wisdom, their healing and their protection. And may the energies contained here within this portal be protected by Source, Great Spirits, Goddesses, Archangels and our ancestors. May what is shared here be brilliantly visible to your heart, your mind and your soul. May you travel swiftly back in time and find your wise ancestor. And I invite only beings of the highest light who love us unconditionally to assist us here today. I invite only wise and benevolent ancestors to attend with us today. I call in the protection of my shamanic temple. I call in the protection of my dragons. Beautiful. We're all ready. So I'm going to open the portal. As soon as the drum starts playing, you're going to go on a journey down into the lower realms. There'll be a big staircase that opens. Just wander down and find that path or that river or that forest trail with the whole intention of finding your wise ancestor. Remember, when you find them, say to them, please assist me, and ask them to clear the lineage from them to you. Also to send the gifts down the line to you. And have a chat with them as well. Beautiful. As I say, I'll play the drum faster to call you back. So let's go. I request the portal to open now, for a wide staircase to open. Imagine in your mind now that you're standing with me. We're standing within a stone circle. That staircase has opened. Start walking down. Turn slowly back to yourself. Turn slowly back. Turn into your bodies. Stretch. If you met your wise ancestor, somebody said, does it mean healed? Yeah, sort of. I mean, they're the one that's healing your lineage, so you're the one that will be healed. They're more the one that was sound and solid, connected to nature, connected to magic. So if you went back quite a lot of generations, people would have been more connected to the earth, lost a lot less technology. So yeah, I mean, you could say they're healed. So you'd know if they were your wise ancestor. If you met them and they were happy to assist you, then as I say, it may take moments. It might be instantaneous, or it might take months, or it might take years. Depends how much they've got to clear. The thing is, what you can do is you can go in your mind back to where you found them, if you found them, and you can say, "How's it going? What's happening? Did you do anything yet?" They'll be like, "Well, yeah, there's a lot to clear. Give us a chance." Well, they might like, "Yeah, it's done. Didn't you receive it?" Yeah, just go back and ask them, and they're not going to bother. Yeah, they're not going to worry that you keep asking them. So if you're one of these people who's like, "Come on, have you done it yet?" Just keep asking them, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, not yet," or they might get to a point where they're like, "It's all done. Have you received it?" And they might say to you, "You need to sit down and receive it. Maybe you need to go and sit in nature under your favourite tree. Maybe to go for a swim in the sea. Maybe to go do whatever it is that chills you out and gets you in a position where you're going to receive it. And you need to call it in, and you need to receive it, and then you need to be thankful and appreciative. And maybe go back and meet your wise ancestor without wanting something. Maybe go back with some news, or go back with thanks, or whatever it is. Once you've done one of those lines, there's probably so many you could keep clearing. And don't get addicted to saying, "Oh, there must be something blocked, I've got to go clearing." But do go down the other line. So if you went down your father's line, maybe go down your mother's line next. Yeah. And do revisit. As I say, just go down that lineage and ask, and maybe even go back and see if you can go beyond the wise one. Say, is there someone that's before you that it would be good for me to meet? Yeah. And talk to your ancestors. They are in spirit form, and they are there. They're not like ghosts, but they're available for you to connect with. And if you were living in a tribe in Colombia or Peru or whatever, in the Amazon, you'd probably have that connection without even thinking about it. But in our society, the way we are, we have to remember that our ancestors were honoured a lot more than we honour them now. And it's good to honour your ancestors, because the ones that have left more recently can get stuck in that process of moving fully into the spirit. And that could be some of the reasons that you have things occurring in your life, because that stuckness is causing a blockage in your lineage. And maybe that's where the wise ancestor has to come back and help them through the death process, or that process of remembering their life. So having it into your heart when people do pass on, to think, maybe I should call in one of the wise ancestors to help them move through that death process, is very nice as well. And it's something we would have done in the past. We would have thought about that, but we don't anymore. We just think, "I'll leave them to it. Unfortunately, they've passed. We grieve them a bit, and that's it." We really need to get back to honouring our ancestors more. As I say, that's a very simple one. It's going to be on the recording. You can use the same thing as with the drumming, or you can just sit down in a meditative state and remember how you found your wise ancestor. If you didn't find them, then just try it again. It's sometimes it doesn't always work, because we're just in our heads and we're not fully available, or we didn't really have a strong enough intention, and therefore the ancestors were watching and going, "They're not really that bothered, they're just messing around." So if you didn't meet them, just really get it into your heart that you want it. As I say, do the other side of your lineage, but wait until the ancestor you may have met has told you that they finished. Because if you have an overlap of all of it being cleansed, you might find it comes and lands on you and knocks you out for a few weeks. All those gifts and all that trauma releasing can knock you out and can be quite powerful. So yeah, just be cautious. Don't. I did ask my teacher, could I just go to all of them and ask them all to do it once? It's like you could, but it could be a bit of a tidal wave of stuff coming towards you. So do it slowly. Don't be in a rush. Yeah. Cool. And as I say, that there'll be a link, and I'll send it out to everyone. I'll post it on my blog, and there'll be the link to the session when there was 3 days where we did the Akashic records, and we explained in a lot more time what the ancestral healing was and how to do it. So you'll have 3 different methods of going back through your ancestry, calling in all the beautiful energy, the gifts, and releasing all of the traumas. Cool. You're most welcome. Anyone got any questions? We've got 10 minutes left. Any questions? Anyone want to say they met someone and what year it was or whatever? And if you don't, that's fine. Blah, blah, blah. A couple of years ago, I was being bothered at night by dark spirits. I created a circle with protective stones and writing to keep my bed. Now I can't contact my ancestors. Any thoughts? The important thing is if you're putting any protection around yourself, I put stones or I call in the light, then what you need to do is you need to do that bit where I say I invite only beings of the highest light who love us unconditionally. So that's the important bit. So you can say it's open, but it's only open to those who love me unconditionally. And you can say I only open my protection to my wise ancestors who love me unconditionally. So you can put it up. So there's if you've put a barrier up and it's like solid and it's working, that's amazing. That's beautiful. But yeah, just say it is actually open to the wise and the powerful and those who have unconditional love for me. And you say I only let those in, and then the protection will work still. At the moment, you've locked yourself into the apartment with all the doors locked and no one's got the key to get in. So you just need to give the key to the wise and the powerful and the lovely to come in. Yeah, so try that. Yeah, that's all I can suggest. It's good that you managed to push the protection around it so strong. That's amazing. That's great. Anyone want to share? If you don't, that's fine. I've got a little bit of packing up here to do, so that's fine by me. I can go home and have my cup of tea. Yep, beautiful. Well, it's lovely to see all your gorgeous faces. And I say we're back in a month and a bit's time. Next time, I'm going to be busy at the beginning of the month, sort of finishing off the Dragon Thunder. So if no one signed up for it yet, go to www.dragonthunder, that's one word, and then .info. And we've got 25 amazing speakers that are all going to be talking about their experience with dragons. So I work with dragon spirits and they help me with healings and the rest of it. And they're very powerful. I've met a dragon in this reality in 2017 while riding my horse, and it's amazing. And I've met some beautiful people on there. I've done 4 recordings so far. There's going to be 14 recordings. 11 people will be live on the day, 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. We've got people from all over the world. We've got India and South Africa, and we've got Australia and all across America. So we're represented well by all different types of people, all with different experiences. Some people channeling dragons, some people saying they are a dragon, some people saying they're kings and queens of dragons. I put it out to the world when my dragon said bring it out the summit, and I thought I'll get 4 or 5 people. 25 later, I was like, I need to shut the door, there's too many. So next time we'll do 2 days, and then maybe the year after that, maybe we'll have it in person somewhere. That would be amazing. You can all come dressed as whatever you want, as your dragon or as a druid or witch or queen or wherever you want to be. But we'll see. Yeah, these things are out of our control. I just said, okay, dragons, I'm listening, I'll start it. So yeah, so please do come to that. And I say that this next one of these will be a week after that, because I'll probably be like, oh, too much energy, and I'll be editing lots of videos. So you're all welcome, and I love you all, and have an amazing day, and I hope you receive all those beautiful gifts and all that trauma is cleared, and you'll be those people that are running around joyful all your lives. So thank you very much, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.